every headline said that mortgage rates had hit their highest point since August of 2025. That headline was already out of date by the time you read it. Rates ended the week by going down, and underneath it, there's a second story that nobody covered that makes a lot more sense if you're actually trying to buy something in today's housing market. Well, here's what they missed. I'm Paul Messina. I go by the Mortgage Vet Paul on social media, and I'm with Milestone Mortgage Solutions. Every Monday, the Monday Mortgage Minute takes you through what last week actually means for you in the housing market. Not the headlines, but an analysis of what actually happened underneath. Let's get into it. Starting with last Tuesday, June inflation numbers came out, and annual inflation dropped from 4.2 to 3.5%. Forecasters expected that to be 3.8, so we got better than almost anybody planned for. So here's why that matters to you. When inflation runs hot, the Fed talks about raising rates. When it cools, that pressure comes off and the bond markets move first before the Fed does anything at all. Your mortgage rate follows the bond market, not the Fed. The bond markets. So watch what happened. Before that report, traders put the odds of a hike this month at 42%. After that, 17%. That's a massive repricing in one morning. The 10-year Treasury fell from 4.64 to 4.54 in that week. So why did you see a headline Thursday with Freddie Mac saying that rates hit 6.55, the highest since August? Because of how the survey works. So Freddie Mac collects responses very early in the week. If a loan closed before the good news landed, that number caught Monday and Tuesday when yields were at their peaks. So it's like artificial inflation of the numbers. Rates finished that week at their lows. By the time you read it, the market had already moved the other way. That weekly survey is a rearview mirror. Everything is being looked at in hindsight. That's the whole reason why I do this every Monday. Here's the story that nobody ran with. Builder confidence dropped again last week. 37% of builders cut their prices this month. 63% are now offering incentives, whether it's a fixed interest rate or a credit with a preferred lender, and that's 16 months in a row above 60%. On top of that, pending sales fell more than 5%. Put those together, builders started these homes months ago. They were expecting a stronger summer. They're finished now, and the homes are sitting there. And every month a finished house that's empty, the builder's paying interest on his line of credit or whatever loan they use to cover the product and the construction. That's the pressure you're walking into as the buyer. So if you're shopping new construction, you need to understand your position. You're not asking for a favor. You're talking to somebody with a real problem you can solve today. Ask for a rate buy down. Ask them to cover closing costs. Ask for the upgrade package if you're paying full price. And here's what people miss. Ask for more than one. That's right, you heard it. Ask for more than one. The worst thing they can say is no. You miss 100% of the shots that you never take. They're already saying yes to somebody. Why shouldn't that somebody be you? So let's get local. I do business in a few states on a regular basis, and these are the ones that I focus on analyzing local markets. North Carolina, statewide median sales price in June was $382,500. 6-month inventory, well, that's what's preferred. Looks like we've got about 5.8 months worth of inventory. So what does that mean? If it's under 4 months, we're in a seller's market. They have leverage. 6 and up is a buyer's market. 5.8 to 6, we're in that balanced range. That's a real change. It means you can negotiate again. Repairs, closing costs, price, the things you got laughed at for 2 years ago. Around Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the mecca of the Army universe, median price about, say 400,000, 58 days on the market. But 58 days is a long time for a seller to sit and wonder if their house is going to sell. Don't be afraid to ask for something. Let's look at Montana. The 406 MLS report, the Montana Regional MLS, said 707 homes sold across Cascade, Lewis and Clark, Flathead, and Missoula counties. 2,000 listings are still active. That's about 3.5 months worth of supply. Tighter than North Carolina, so you'll have to move a little bit faster. Homes that are priced well are not sitting very long, especially in the $300,000 to $450,000 range. That's where our premier buyer pool is in the state of Montana right now. But there's 2,000 listings out there across the state. It means that you have real choices. You might not see exactly what you're looking for in your individual market, but if you have the ability to be mobile, something for you is out there at the price that you're looking for. You're not settling for one house that came up in your range. 2 different states, the same message. You have more room than you think. Now we are on to a segment I like to call the Vets Corner. Veterans, this is one-time sensitive. The VA funding bill that you've been tracking got filtered into a bigger housing package. It's in the Senate now and it's moving. Here's what changes if it passes. Right now, if you refinance with a VA Streamline, it's called an interest rate refinance reduction loan, or EARL, your funding fee is only 0.5%. That's 0.5%. Under the new bill, it is going to go up to 1.42%. That is nearly triple the current funding fee. Now, if you're an exempt veteran, you've got a service-connected disability. Unfortunately, congratulations, it means that you got hurt some way, somehow to be able to not have to pay this VA funding fee along with some other benefits. But for everybody else, including active duty service members, this is a huge problem. Let's look at another fee, the assumption fee. Well, that fee for funding an assumption of your VA loan doubles from 0.5% to 1 full percent. Purchase loans don't change. Your zero down purchase is safe. But here's what's got my attention. The earlier version of this bill had a 10-year expiration on it. The newest version stripped that away entirely. So what does that mean? It means this is no longer a temporary change, guys. It's not temporary. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't know if this is going to pass. Nobody does. But the window is open today, and it may not be in August. If you've been sitting on a refinance or looking at assuming a seller's loan, this is the week to run your numbers, not because I want your business, but because that math on the other side of that vote could mean a dramatic change in whether or not you end up underwater in your mortgage for doing something as simple as refinancing your current loan. All right, guys, that's the news. Looking ahead, the Fed meets on the 28th of July. Markets expect that rates will hold still, but watch oil prices. If the cost of energy continues to increase while we're still trading strikes with Iran, that inflation number and that improvement reverses, and everything that I just told you can change in an instant. The risk is on the board. Here's your takeaway. Nobody can time this market, not me, not anyone. What you control is your price, your terms, and who pays your closing costs. Right now, all three are pointing in your direction. Don't just guess at your numbers, get them. One big announcement, one more thing, and this is absolutely brand new. Starting this week, I'm going to be doing live Q&A on Facebook Live a few times a week. Camera's going to be on. Your questions are going to be fielded in real time. No appointment, no pitch, no such thing as a dumb question. Whatever you feel like you need to ask, please ask. If you ever feel embarrassed to ask a question, I can guarantee you there's somebody else out there wanting to ask that same question. And glad that you did so they didn't have to. You can find me on Facebook at the Mortgage Vet Paul. Same thing on Instagram. Follow those pages. The announcement will be out there. Hey guys, if you found this content to be useful, please hit that like, subscribe, and share buttons. Feel free to check out our Learning Hub. It's where we have our newsletters, market information, tips, tricks, and other videos, educational content. Thanks for all your support.